There comes a moment, quiet, unannounced, when a person looks at their life and whispers, "I was made for more than this." It is in that moment, not the spotlight, not the applause, but in the stillness of that whisper, where high achievers are born, not out of luck, not out of privilege, but out of a sacred refusal to live a small life. Before we dive in, I want to invite you, if you believe in growth, strength, and personal excellence, to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps this message reach those who need it most. High achievers know that drifting leads nowhere worthwhile. They don't wait for inspiration. They design their days. They don't hope for change. They become the change. They understand that wisdom is endless. Every book, every challenge, every failure is a stepping stone toward a better version of themselves. Where others complain, they learn. Where others quit, they grow stronger. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the fire that never dies. High achievers show up when they feel like it, and especially when they don't. Their goals are not decorations. Their dreams are not fantasies. Every task, every decision, every sacrifice moves them closer to the life they were meant to live. High achievers feel deeply, but they do not allow temporary emotions to sabotage permanent potential. They breathe, they think, they rise above. While many waste hours as if they are infinite, high achievers guard their time fiercely. Not out of selfishness, but out of reverence for what their life can become. Comfort whispers, "Stay here. You have done enough." But legacy calls, "Stand up. There is more within you." And high achievers choose legacy every time. If anything in this message stirred something inside you, if even one of these habits reminded you of who you truly are capable of becoming, then I ask from the heart, engage with this video. Your interaction helps this message awaken another soul who is standing on the edge of their breakthrough. Before we close, tell me in the comments which habit will why you start practicing today. Let me know if you'd like a shorter version, a more intense version, or a version written specifically for narration, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. The power of intentional living begins the moment a person stops waiting for life to hand them direction and decides to become the author of their own path. High achievers rise because they understand that drifting through days without purpose slowly erodes potential. They look at time not as something to pass, but as something to shape. They wake with clarity, not because they always feel motivated, but because they have chosen to anchor their actions to a vision that pulls them forward. Intentional living is not about perfection, it is about awareness. Knowing what you want, why you want it, and what you must sacrifice to reach it. Many people allow circumstances, emotions, and the opinions of others to drag them in different directions. But high achievers move with deliberateness. Their steps may be small, but each one is aimed at a destination they have already chosen in their mind. Human behavior naturally gravitates toward comfort and familiarity. The mind prefers the predictable, even if the predictable leads nowhere. High achievers recognize this psychological trap and refuse to let autopilot dictate their future. They consciously disrupt old patterns that no longer serve them. They eliminate habits that drain energy and replace them with routines that fuel growth. Even simple choices, what they read, who they spend time with, how they respond to setbacks, are made with intention, because they know small decisions accumulate into a lifetime. They are not controlled by impulses or momentary feelings. Instead, they pause, reflect, and choose actions aligned with their deeper purpose. This creates a psychological stability that many admire but few cultivate. Intentional living also gives high achievers a sense of inner strength. When challenges appear, they are not lost or easily shaken, because they have already decided who they want to become. They know what battles are worth fighting and which ones drain their power. They conserve emotional energy by ignoring distractions and focusing on what builds their character. The clarity they hold becomes a compass, guiding them through uncertainty. People naturally trust and admire individuals who move with intention because such behavior radiates confidence and self-respect. It inspires others to believe that they too can direct their own lives. High achievers choose their path each day, not through grand gestures but through consistent, intentional choices that turn ordinary days into extraordinary futures. High achievers pursue relentless growth because they understand that the world never stops evolving, and neither should they. They treat their mind like a muscle that must be constantly stretched, challenged, and fed with new ideas. Instead of fearing what they don't know, they lean toward it with curiosity. They realize that ignorance is not a weakness, but a starting point, and every new piece of knowledge is a tool that sharpens their ability to navigate life. Many people avoid new challenges because learning can feel uncomfortable, but high achievers run toward that discomfort knowing it is a doorway to their next level. They see growth as a lifelong journey, not a destination reserved only for the talented or lucky. This hunger for growth shapes their daily behavior. They read, observe, listen, and ask questions not to impress others, but to expand their understanding of the world. They treat mistakes as valuable teachers and failures as training grounds. While others hide from their failures out of embarrassment, high achievers study them with honesty because they know every setback contains a lesson waiting to be unlocked. Human psychology naturally seeks reassurance and familiarity, but high achievers interrupt this pattern. They condition their minds to crave progress more than comfort, understanding that comfort often disguises itself as safety when in reality it holds people back from realizing their potential. Their growth mindset also shapes how they respond to the success of others. Instead of feeling threatened or jealous, they feel inspired. They see proof that growth is possible and allow that inspiration to fuel their own journey. They surround themselves with people who challenge their thinking, deepen their perspectives, and elevate their standards. They do not cling to environments where growth is stagnant, because they know that staying in a place too small for their dreams suffocates progress. Every conversation, every experience, every opportunity becomes a chance to learn something new. What truly sets high achievers apart is their refusal to ever believe they have arrived. They remain students of life, humble enough to learn and bold enough to apply what they learn. This combination of humility and courage creates a mindset that is unstoppable. They understand that growth is not seasonal, it is a lifestyle. They chase it relentlessly not because they are dissatisfied with who they are, but because they are excited about who they can still become. High achievers treat discipline as the backbone of their success because they understand that motivation is unreliable. Motivation rises and falls with mood, environment, and energy, but discipline remains steady even when everything else feels unstable. They do not wait for the perfect moment, the right feeling, or a burst of inspiration to act. They act because they decided long before their emotions had a chance to interfere. This ability to move forward despite discomfort separates them from the majority. Many people are held hostage by temporary feelings, but high achievers train their minds to honor commitments rather than cravings. They know that dreams don't grow in the soil of convenience, they grow in the soil of consistency. Discipline becomes a daily practice, not a dramatic event. It is built through simple actions. Waking up when they said they would, finishing tasks they don't enjoy, repeating positive habits until they become automatic. These small acts may look ordinary, but over time they reshape behavior, identity, and belief. Humans naturally follow their habits, and high achievers use this psychological truth to their advantage. They design routines that support their goals and eliminate habits that drain time and energy. While others repeat patterns that keep them stuck, high achievers build patterns that move them forward with quiet power. They view discipline as a form of self-respect. When they keep a promise to themselves, they strengthen their confidence and trust in their own abilities. This inner trust becomes a weapon during difficult seasons. While others crumble under pressure or lose focus when life gets messy, disciplined individuals remain grounded. Their consistency becomes a shield against chaos. They may bend, but they never break. They may slow down, but they never stop. Discipline provides them with emotional stability because they know they can rely on themselves even when circumstances are unpredictable. High achievers also learn to separate feelings from actions. They may feel tired, discouraged, or overwhelmed, but they do not let these emotions determine their choices. Instead, they allow discipline to guide them through the moments when the mind tries to negotiate or retreat. Over time, this repeated resistance builds mental strength. It teaches them that progress is not about passion, but persistence. While the world applauds talent and intelligence, high achievers quietly rely on discipline, knowing that consistency over time outperforms bursts of inspiration. They understand that success is built not on the days when they felt unstoppable, but on the days when they felt nothing at all yet still showed up. High achievers align their actions with purpose because they understand that a life without direction leads to constant distraction, confusion, and emotional restlessness. Purpose becomes the compass that guides their choices, shapes their priorities, and fuels their determination. They do not waste energy chasing every opportunity or pleasing every expectation. Instead, they choose actions that move them closer to the life they envision. This alignment gives them a sense of clarity that many people spend years searching for. When a person knows their why, their how becomes clearer, and their when becomes now. High achievers carry this inner clarity like a quiet strength that influences everything they do, from the way they handle difficulties to the way they celebrate victories. This sense of purpose allows them to remain resilient in moments when others tend to give up. Human nature makes people more likely to retreat in stressful situations, but high achievers view challenges as part of the path rather than roadblocks. Purpose gives them emotional endurance. It helps them see meaning even in discomfort. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" This shift in mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. They feel pain, frustration, and fear just like anyone else. But their purpose reminds them that the struggle is not a signal to quit. It is a sign that they are growing stronger. Purpose-driven action also prevents high achievers from living reactively. While many people operate based on feelings, impulses, and external pressures, high achievers focus on what truly matters. They understand that not every battle deserves their energy, and not every distraction deserves their attention. They choose where to invest their time with intention. They build habits that support their long-term goals, not the temporary desires of the moment. This ability to choose purpose over impulse creates a psychological advantage that sets them apart. It makes them consistent, stable, and emotionally grounded. When actions align with purpose, life becomes more fulfilling. Even difficult tasks feel meaningful when they contribute to a larger vision. High achievers experience a quiet satisfaction that comes from knowing their efforts are building something valuable. They don't need constant validation because the process itself gives them confidence. They walk through life with a sense of direction that inspires others. People naturally gravitate toward individuals who move with purpose because such behavior radiates confidence, intention, and authenticity. High achievers understand that the greatest power lies not in doing more, but in doing what truly matters. High achievers govern their emotions because they understand that a person who cannot manage their inner world will always struggle to manage their outer world. They know emotions are powerful, but they refuse to let temporary feelings sabotage a permanent potential. Instead of reacting impulsively, they take a moment to breathe, to observe, and to choose their response with intention. Human behavior is often driven by emotion before logic, but high achievers flip this pattern. They learn to feel deeply without letting those feelings dictate their actions. This emotional discipline gives them a stability that others admire and often struggle to develop. They recognize that emotions can create illusions. Fear can exaggerate danger, doubt can create imaginary limits, and frustration can make small problems look enormous. But high achievers step back and question these emotional distortions. They ask themselves whether their feelings are facts or reactions, whether their fears are real or inherited from past experiences, and whether their doubt is a signal to stop or a whisper telling them they are stepping into new territory. By understanding the psychology behind their emotions, they take back control instead of being controlled. This emotional mastery also protects their energy. They refuse to be drained by unnecessary conflicts, gossip, or negativity. When others get pulled into drama or emotional turbulence, high achievers remain focused. They choose peace over chaos, patience over impulse, and clarity over confusion. They understand that emotional energy is limited, and wasting it on things that don't matter weakens their ability to pursue what does matter. This awareness allows them to maintain calm even in intense situations, which strengthens their confidence and decision-making skills. High achievers also use emotions as tools rather than obstacles. They turn fear into focus, doubt into preparation, and frustration into fuel. Instead of suppressing how they feel, they redirect their emotional power toward productive action. They understand that emotions are not enemies, they are signals. When anger appears, it may be highlighting a boundary that needs reinforcing. When anxiety arises, it may be pointing toward a challenge that requires more preparation. When sadness settles in, it may be reminding them of something meaningful that needs attention. They listen to their emotions without letting them take the wheel. By mastering their emotions, high achievers build an internal foundation that remains strong regardless of circumstances. They become the kind of people others look to for stability, strength, and clarity. Their emotional control becomes a quiet form of leadership, shaping their relationships, decisions, and overall success. High achievers value time as their greatest currency because they understand that every minute spent can never be earned back. They treat time with a sense of respect that many overlook, recognizing that how they use their hours shapes the course of their entire future. While others allow distractions, procrastination, and impulsive habits to steal their potential, high achievers protect their time with intention. They watch how easily days can slip away when a person moves without awareness, and they refuse to let life pass by on autopilot. They know that time is not just something to measure, it is something to invest, and every investment determines who they become. They understand human psychology well enough to realize that people often spend time in ways that bring quick comfort rather than long-term growth. The mind naturally gravitates toward easy tasks, entertainment, or emotional escape. But high achievers fight this instinct by keeping their purpose in front of them. They remind themselves that time spent wisely compounds into progress, skills, and opportunities. Time wasted compounds into regret. This awareness becomes a silent motivator, pushing them to make each moment count. They organize their days not to look busy, but to move closer to the life they envision. Their relationship with time also influences the people they choose to surround themselves with. High achievers distance themselves from negativity, drama, and individuals who drain their energy. Not out of arrogance, but out of understanding that emotional and mental distractions can steal years. They prefer conversations that inspire growth, relationships that bring value, and environments that support their goals. They know that time spent with the wrong influences is more damaging than wasted hours, because it shapes mindset and behavior. Protecting their time becomes a way of protecting their future. High achievers also use time to build habits that create momentum. They understand that consistency over long periods produces extraordinary results. 10 minutes of reading every day becomes thousands of pages in a year. A small daily goal becomes a major achievement over time. This compounding effect becomes their advantage. They do not rush, but they do not delay. They move steadily, trusting that each hour dedicated to growth will pay off in ways that others may not see until years later. Because they value time so deeply, high achievers live with intention. They say no when needed, pause to reflect, and choose actions that bring meaning. They do not fear time passing because they fill their days with purpose. Their respect for time becomes a reflection of their respect for themselves.